Okay, welcome back to the studio. I'm Sean. I'm a certified Bob Ross instructor, and today I'm going to show you how to paint this happy little painting that is based on Bob Ross's classic Northern Lights painting. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so let me tell you what I've got going on here today. We have an 18 by 24-inch canvas. Obviously, I have it in portrait. And I've just started with some black gesso. Let it dry. Black gesso takes about 15 minutes, 20 minutes to dry now. I did this a few days ago, so it's definitely dry, but it'll be dry in about 30 minutes. And once I had the gesso applied, I put on a very thin, even coat of the Bob Ross liquid clear. Now be careful with that because when you put it on, as you probably know, it's clear and it's hard to tell how much you have. If you're not sure, you can just drag your finger across the canvas, look at it from the side, maybe have your cell phone light on. And if it leaves a trace, like a snail crawling across it, it's too much. Take a paper towel and wipe it down. After I did all that, you might be able to see it. I put some Indian yellow up in the sky and then some alizarin crimson. And then around that is Prussian blue. Okay. And this is going to be a winter painting. So there's not going to be any green in it at all. And with that, we're ready to get started. So I'm going to take a a number 6 fan brush. It's a Bob Ross number 6 fan brush. And I'm just going to load it full of titanium white. Nothing else, just the titanium white. And then I'm going to come up here. And because this is the Northern Lights, I'm just going to kind of plan out where I want them a little bit. And I envision them coming kind of like that. And then down. Something like that. I have a mountain here, maybe some trees, so I'm not too worried about how far down. All right, now we're going to take a 1-inch brush, and this is very important. You got to pull straight up, okay? Don't go to the side or anything like that. Just pull straight up. And now that white is going to start mixing with that Indian yellow, and it's going to give us this really cool effect. Now, on his paintings that I've seen, Bob didn't use Indian yellow in his Northern Lights, but this is our world. So we're going to use Indian yellow. It's one of my favorite colors. And you can see it gives a really cool effect. And down here, I'm not too worried about it because, as I said, I already know there's going to be stuff here. So we don't really care about that. Now, this is the idea for this painting came from season 29, I believe it is, where Bob does a Northern Lights just like this, except it's in an oval. And the only other difference is he doesn't put a mountain in there. I think I'm going to put a mountain in here, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how I feel when we get there. Maybe I won't. You just come up here. And you brush off a little bit on your palette. You're starting to pick up some paint, and I am. Or you could do it on a paper towel. There you go. And then just pull it up. You gotta make the little funny noises like Bob. Believe it or not, that kind of helps. That is one wild sky. I said, I think I need a little more paint. So we can pick up that fan brush. I said, in the original one, Bob just had some trees and some snow. But we're gonna paint a mountain because why not? So on my palette here, I don't know if you can see it, I've got some mountain mix. And I'm just gonna get myself a little roll of paint, come up here to the canvas. Now sometimes I'll cheat this because it's kind of hard at the beginning when you're first painting to see and know where things are at. So if you're a beginner, what I would recommend is bring these lights all the way down here and pull them up, and then that'll lighten the canvas and you can put your mountain there. All right, so let's get our mountain here. It's not gonna be too intricate. We're just gonna, maybe he's got 2 peaks on him. That's what we're gonna do today. So we've got one there. And maybe he's got another peak right over here. And there we go. And of course, this is really difficult to see unless you're right up here at the canvas. Even sometimes then, it's still pretty hard to see. All right, so we put that down. Get our dirty 1-inch brush. We might as well continue working with it. Shimmy up to the edge and pull that paint down. We're trying to remove that excess paint. Okay, I also want to hide those curtains there. All right, so we just, they're going behind the mountain. Just start pulling that paint out. And then it would be easier for you to see it if this were a white canvas. You kind of missed out the bottom. Set that brush down. All right, now it's time to get crazy. We're gonna take our white, hopefully you can see that. We're gonna take our white paint. I'm leaving my knife dirty on purpose, believe it or not. And that's because it's nighttime. I don't want the snow to be too bright. So we're gonna gray it down. The reality is once you put this up there, it's still gonna pop. We come up here and we're just going to start, and this is no pressure at all, and just let it kind of float down the mountain, just like that. Okay, come back up here, no pressure at all. And if you don't have any pressure, you'll get all that little breaking effect that's taking place, and that's really cool. It does take a minute or 2 of practice to learn how to do that. Notice how I'm holding the knife. When I teach class, I always know that students, they'll always put their finger on the blade. Do not put your finger on the blade. Just hold it with the tips of your hand, fingertips, whatever. You know what I'm talking about. I don't care for these straight lines here, so we're gonna kind of break this up. All right, we're gonna come about, right there. We're gonna bring them out, just like that. Step back for a second after I run into the garbage can. It's kind of behind me. All right, very nice, okay. So we're gonna take some white. Let's make us a shadow color. Mix it with that Prussian blue. And that'll make us a very cool looking shadow. And it's the same process, you just get that little roll of paint, and then you come up here. You can even put them down here if you want. Come back up here. We got to get this peak. there, and you can kind of leave some of that dark, like right in there. That'll look like really deep crevices way back in the distance. All right, now it looks to me like that part needs a little bit of work. Always step back from your canvas about 6 feet. Give it a look-see, see what's happening, see what's going on, see how it looks from where you're at. I'm going to set my palette down, and then we're going to get a clean, dry 2-inch brush. Make sure it's dry and clean. If you've cleaned it recently, you probably don't want to bring it up here because if it's got paint thinner and it hits that liquid clear, it's going to have a violent reaction. We're not looking for that today. And we're just going to kind of tap, tap, tap. Mist out the bottom, just like that. Okay, you can change. It's a good idea. Don't come to the same level, okay? It's going to look strange. So we're going to set that brush down. Now we're going to get another fan brush. This is a number 6 large fan brush. And now we're going to start putting some midground trees in here, okay? That's really easy. You just get that bad boy, just load them up with paint. Load them up. Even throw a little bit of brown in there. Got some Van Dyke brown on the canvas. Why not? A little bit of the blue. Shoot, we can get some alizarin crimson since it's out. Might as well use it. And then now we're gonna have to make a decision. How high do we want the trees going? I think maybe about right there. Something like that. And so we're just gonna tap, 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 tap. Just like that. I'm purposely getting them into the mist because it's so dark you wouldn't see them otherwise. Okay, so that mist is your friend. These are tap and crash trees. Tap and crash. As my friend Nick Hankins says, it's because you're tapping and then kind of crashing down. So we're going to set that palette down. I'm going to take my dirty 2-inch brush, and that's okay that it's dirty. Excuse my head there. Just wipe off some of that mess that's on there. And I'm gonna come in here now and we're gonna tap the bottom, just mist out the bottom. And this is really more of a habit thing. I'm not gonna really see the difference here, okay? But it's a good habit to get into. Always mist out the bottom of your tap and crash trees, okay? And then you can kind of brush them up. And that'll also kind of give little thousands of points there. And it took you 20 seconds to do. If you want, you can come in and make it look like there's thousands of little trees right there. These tree trunks way back off in the distance. Okay, if one gets too bright on you, like where you started, if you're like, it's a little bright, all you have to do is wipe it a couple times with that same brush because there's blue on the canvas and it'll calm it down. And we're gonna put some land. Now this is pretty far away, so probably not gonna see much except maybe a little water line. So I'm gonna get, this is the tiniest little sliver of titanium white. And we're just gonna kind of rub in. That way it kind of looks like there's snow or ice or I don't know. Really cold water crashing up on the shore there, who knows? And it looks like there's all this interesting stuff happening way back off there in the distance. Now we're kind of ready for the foreground. All right. And in the foreground, I'm gonna put a tree here and maybe have some land coming down this way. All right. So we just get that fan brush. I'm just using the same one. Just reload them once again. Blue, mountain mix, a little bit of brown, a little bit of the red since we've got some left. Or alizarin crimson, actually. It's not the bright red. Should make that known. All right. Then I'm gonna set my palette down. I'm gonna come up here and I want this tree, I wanna make sure that he's not even with these mountain peaks, okay? So I'm gonna start him way up high, way up there. This guy, mama fed him well. He got a lot of nourishment. And so he is a giant tree. Now when Bob made evergreen trees, he did two types. He would press down, press up. My favorite is the press up. His, I think it's fair to say, was the press down. So it really just, whichever one you like. All right, and I'm gonna come up here and just kind of touch the canvas. And as I'm going, I'm kind of saying to myself, middle, 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 step to the right. Middle, 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 step to the left. You can even leave some gaps. That really looks kind of cool. If you've been to the forest, and I've been to the forest a number of times. I was a Boy Scout way back in the day. Pine trees, evergreen trees, whatever you want to call them, they don't all look perfect like Christmas trees. You know, they will have gaps in them. And by doing that, it really gives them, I think, a very natural look. We'll come maybe right here. I don't want there to be a gap. And I know where the tape's at, but I'm trying to close that in a little bit so that there's not a massive gap. And the great thing about doing this is that dark is going to hide a bunch of mistakes. So if you're having trouble, this is probably the time to do an evergreen tree. It's going to make it difficult to see, and really it's going to just depend on the highlights. Okay. Speaking of which, it's highlight time now. Now I'm noticing this paint, I'm gonna have to cut in front of the camera, I'm sorry. Excuse me for a minute. This paint is really thick and dry because this is titanium white. So I'm gonna dip my brush just the corner and get a little bit of paint thinner. Just wanna soften this paint up, maybe a little more. Okay, I think that should be good enough. We'll test it. Now, if it's not, don't go all the way down the tree and then get to the end and say, man, I shouldn't have done that. I should have thinned the paint out a little bit. Stop and paint and do it before you get to the end. All right, I'm gonna come up here. Actually, before I do that, I always make this mistake. You know, you might wanna have a trunk in your tree. So we're gonna take a little bit of that Van Dyke brown, okay? And then I'm gonna just get a smidgen of white. I just want to lighten it up just a smidge there. How much is a smidge? I don't know. Just use the eyeball test. There we go. I want you to be able to see the trunk, but I don't want it to be too obvious. Cut across, get that little roll of paint. And then just in a couple of spots here, might not even be able to see it. Okay, but I know it's there. There we go. Good enough. Also, you should probably take your knife and sharpen these edges a little bit. Maybe we'll do one more little piece of trunk on this guy, and maybe it's right there. All right. Now, let's get back to the highlights. That's what's great about oil painting. You can make these little mistakes and fix them fairly easily. Now, I'm barely touching the canvas right there, okay? It is a very soft touch, and I think I need a little more paint thinner. It's not jumping off like I would like it to. Okay, but you gotta be careful, because if it's too soft, what's gonna happen when you hit it, it's gonna come out in a big glop. We don't want that. One more time, we reload the brush. Come up, make sure that your brush is up. There we go, we're gonna set everything down now. And I said I wanted some land coming out here. So we're gonna get our 1-inch brush real fast. Let me just take a step back. Remember, always step back. Take a look-see. Now when I do this, I'm gonna pull the brush through the paint. Okay, but I purposely get the crimp side so that the crimp side is coming towards me. I'm gonna mix blue, some mountain mix, some Van Dyke brown. Make sure that you're coming with the brush straight up. And I don't know if you can see it, but you should have like a stippling effect. And we're gonna come over here. I'm gonna put, these are gonna be our little snow-covered bushes, okay? Boom, 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 just a little bit of land right through there. There we go, just like that, okay? I'm gonna set that bad boy down. I'm gonna get another brush. This is a clean, dry 1-inch brush. I have several of these guys going. Very gently. Start putting in your little snow-covered bushes. That is a very soft touch though. Okay, very soft. And you can just kind of think of it like you're doing a clock. So it's midnight, 11, 10, 9, 1, 2, 3, kind of like that. And as we get down here, maybe we'll use the side of the brush, and you're gonna get all these little things down here. Okay, now we want to do some reflections. So you're gonna take that 1-inch brush. This is a clean, dry 1-inch brush. Actually, it's a brand new 1-inch brush. And we're just gonna very gently pull it down. I mean, that is half a hair more air than anything else. Okay, be very careful. And then just across it a little bit like that. Very soft, very gentle, okay? Now we gotta put some land. We're getting almost to the end. So I'm gonna get some of that brown, that Van Dyke brown. It's probably got a little bit of black mixed in there. And then get some of that titanium white. That titanium white is so dry and firm and thick. Even though I've tried to thin it down, it's still pretty doggone thick. It is stubborn. All right, come over here. And we're just gonna highlight that. And we are just about finished with this painting for this week. Hopefully you learned a thing or two. And with that, we just have one thing left. You thought I forgot. Actually, I kind of did, but oops. Let's see, we're gonna take the tape off. It's the moment of truth. Drum roll, please. Let me take this off just for a second. That was good. Okay, so we're back. This is how it looks once you've taken off the tape. And hopefully you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, give us a like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And we'll see you next week with another hopefully happy painting. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.